Welcome back, everyone, to another interview from the Draw Control podcast. On today's episode, I am joined by UTampa women's lacrosse player Mekelsey Montgomery. In her lacrosse career, Mekelsey has played in 51 games and has 27 goals and helped UTampa to win two national championships. She also received the D2 ADA Academic Achievement Award. Before college, Mekelsey was a two-time All-League and All-South Jersey player, and I'm super excited to have her on the podcast today. So, welcome to the Draw Control podcast, Mekelsey, and how is everything going?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and everything's going great. How are you?
I'm doing well, just enjoying the early parts of summer, getting some rest in before, everything starts kicking in. I feel like a little bit around July for myself.
Yes, I completely agree. Now that I graduated, I'm like, this is like the first time I actually have a break. So just soaking it all in as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, your season obviously just wrapped up a few weeks ago. I guess what'd you take away from your final year of college lacrosse as you reflect on the season and your whole career? One of the probably you're one of the rare players that ended off in a win, so that must feel nice to reflect on it that way.
Yes, it feels so great. Being a back-to-back national champion is something that I'm super proud of. I remember even last year when I was a junior and the girls who ended off with being a national champion, I was like, well, I want to do that too. Like, I want to end off my college career in the same way. And fortunately, I was able to do the same. But definitely something that I realized is that college flies by. My freshman year felt like it was super long, but now looking back, now that I graduated, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that college is done now. So that is definitely something that I've taken away, that it flies by, and to just really soak every moment in and just really enjoy it all.
Yeah, everyone tells you it flies by, but then like you don't realize how true that those words are until it actually happens. So I'm with you on that.
100%. I felt like each year like my first year it felt really long, and then like each year kind of went faster and faster. But these past 2 years, it was just like a blink of an eye, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm done college. Like this is so crazy. I'm sure you feel the same way since you also just graduated.
Yes, no, I feel the same way. It's crazy how fast it goes. And now I feel old, but then now you have, I guess, like 30, 40 years in the workforce. So
Yep.
I don't know how, hopefully that, I don't know if that goes fast or not.
I feel like that part goes slow
Yeah,
from what I've heard from
I
other
think
people,
so
but
too. But if you figure out something that you love, then maybe it goes little bit faster.
exactly. That's true. That's true.
Now, what are your plans, I guess, post graduation? Do you still plan on being involved with lacrosse in the future?
Yeah, so I have a job. I'm working in medical sales. So I'll be doing that starting very end of July, beginning of August. And then I definitely will be continuing working with lacrosse. I usually always will go back and coach at my club lacrosse team, South Jersey Select. So I'll definitely be doing that. And now that I'll be living at home back in South Jersey, I'll definitely be more involved in that. Coaching some more clinics and camps, maybe some more teams as well.
Yeah, for sure. Are you ready to deal with the cold weather again, being in Tampa for the last 4 years?
No, I am not. It is crazy how much you adjust to it. I'll never forget. It was like my freshman or sophomore year in Tampa, and I called my dad and I was like, "Dad, like I'm freezing. It's so cold here." And he was like, "Mekelsey, like what's the weather?" I was like, 60, and he was like, "It's literally snowing here. Like it is not cold there." I'm like, "No, but like you don't get it." So it will definitely be an adjustment for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I will say I enjoy the cold weather a little bit more than the heat, and that's sort of my
Okay.
take. I feel like it's much easier to handle the cold weather than it is the heat because I feel like when it's so hot, there's like almost nothing you can do to cool yourself down. Where in the
Yeah.
pool, it's like there's a lot of things you can do to make yourself get warmer.
I definitely get that. That's what I am excited though is I really love fall. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
like experience more of a fall because in Tampa you kind of just you get back and it's like feels like 100 degrees like from August and then all the way until like beginning of November. So I'm excited to have a fall, that part of it. The cold, not so much, but
Okay, okay. We'll agree to disagree on that, I guess. So. Well, let's transition and sort of start off the pod talking about the beginning of your career and sort of work all the way up to where you are now, I guess, post graduation. So, on your bio, it says that you're from Hainesport, New Jersey. So, talk about growing up there and how did you start playing lacrosse?
Yeah, so I am from Painesville, New Jersey. It's a very small town. I usually say it's around like the bigger towns, Cherry Hill and Mount Laurel, like 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia. I'm the youngest of four girls, so I grew up in a very competitive household. We all played sports. We all started playing soccer, actually. So I started playing soccer when I was 3 years old. And my dad always says that, if you would have told me that none of my daughters would have played soccer, then he would have not believed you because we all played soccer and all loved it so much. But then lacrosse came to be. My cousin started playing lacrosse and she played in college. So my sisters kind of picked it up and then I started picking it up in third grade. And then I fell in love with it and just continued playing soccer and lacrosse. And then when it got to high school, I knew that playing in college was something that I wanted to do. And two of my older sisters went to go play in college, and I just saw how they did and like how their success and how much they liked it. So I wanted to do the same and continue my career. It felt weird, like ending lacrosse in high school. I was like, I wasn't ready to stop playing a sport yet. So I wanted to then focus more on lacrosse when I learned that that was more of my love. I love lacrosse more than soccer, and then just started the recruiting process. So they changed the rule, so I couldn't really talk to coaches until the beginning of my junior year of high school, which was nice because it gives you a little bit more time. A lot of times in the years past, like you could get recruited like your eighth grade, freshman, sophomore year, which to me, I think that's really early. But then I was just going through the recruiting process, and Tampa reached out to me. Um, and I saw them and I was like, oh my gosh, school is beautiful. They were just very much in the upcoming of their team. They were just doing really well. They just started really kicking it off. And so I went to a camp, fell in love with it, absolutely loved the school, thought it was so beautiful. I really liked the environment that the team had. And then COVID happened. So that kind of set it back a little bit. So that continued the recruiting process a lot longer than I anticipated. But I finally was able to go on campus and just loved it and committed right there on the spot. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I feel like I always hear about growing up with like brothers and how rowdy that is. What's it like being the youngest of three sisters? Do they like tease you at all, or is it more like not as much like that?
Oh, 100%. 100% you get teased, but it's a sister bond, it's a sister love. It's something where you can like argue or bicker for like 20 minutes and then 5 minutes later you can be like, you want to go get lunch. Like it's just like such a different relationship, which I love. I love having sisters. I love being the youngest as well. I look up to them so much and they've just helped me, really become who I am. So I've loved it. We were just very loving family and we're all just super close. And it also is cool because we all are really close in age. So I got to play with one of them, but like the three of them all played together once before in high school. So I think that's also really cool being so close in age. You can like compete together. We work out together. I was doing like my sister's college lacrosse workout packets when I was in high school. So it's just such like a great connection, a great bond.
Yeah, like I think you sort of understand a little bit because, like you said, you have three older sisters, and two of them, Mackenzie and Michaela, played college lacrosse, with
Yes.
Michaela also winning a national championship as
Yes.
well. So you guys have three championships in the Montgomery family, which is pretty
Yeah.
impressive. But
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
have your
Michaela
like?
actually, she played at Gettysburg her first year and won a national championship. So
Oh,
we
so four.
have four. We have four. Yeah, which is awesome. I was like, well, you can't be the only two-time winner. Like I also need to be a two-time winner. So now we're even.
Nice, nice, nice. That was probably one of your motivations, I imagine, this past year. But what have your,
Definitely.
I guess, three siblings meant to you in your lacrosse career? And I'm curious, did Mackenzie give you like any advice while you were on your championship runs? Because she sort of understood what it was like being involved with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely they're such a great asset to me. Since they are older, I feel like I look to them for a lot of knowledge as well. So, and Mackenzie played attack, which is what I play, and Michaela played midi, but then she transitioned to being defense throughout majority of college. So it was definitely cool. Michaela continued. She ended up playing like 7 years of college lacrosse because she had a lot of extra eligibility with COVID years and red shirts. So um, when I was in college, she was also in college. So we just really worked well together. We just would work out together. Since she was defense, I was offense. We would go against each other, which was super helpful for me. She's just this great stud of an athlete, and I'm just like a little freshman or sophomore just starting. So it was super beneficial. And yeah, I mean, they just always give me a lot of advice, just soak it all in, appreciate everything where you are, even just like the bus ride, driving to the stadium where you're playing and just looking up all the banners and everything, just like really soak it in and appreciate it because not everybody gets this opportunity. And it's just how fortunate I am and such a small group of athletes get to experience it. So just really like just soak it all in and be where your feet are.
Now, before college, you played for your high school at RVR. That's what I'm going to say because I don't know how to pronounce the town name. Talk about, I guess, your high school lacrosse days, and do you have like a favorite memory with that team?
Yeah, it was so much fun. I loved my high school lacrosse team. It was all like my best friends. We all played with each other. I probably would say my favorite memory was my senior year. We were going into playoffs, and everyone like senior, you loved night games. That was like the biggest thing. Like everyone would come out, and you get to play on the turf. So it was like we were. It was the regional final. It was a yeah, and it got rained out. So we were like, oh, like everyone was built up, everyone was in the stand. So it got rained out. But then the next day we played and it was such a tough competitor. And it was just such a fun game going back and forth. We got to like leave school early, which we always love to do as well. Um, and we just won, I think, by like one or two. And it was just so much fun, just that much of a competitive game and kind of like a rival that you're playing. It was just so much fun. So that was definitely probably one of my favorite memories.
Well, let's sort of jump ahead now to your freshman year and what was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college lacrosse once you got to campus?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot going on. I think time management is just really important. Being able to juggle lacrosse and academics, and at least for me, I moved like thousands of miles away from home. Being on your own, I think that's just definitely a big adjustment. Um, and I think also just college lacrosse, like it's just super competitive. Yes, we're D2, but that doesn't mean we're any less competitive than Division One. And the same goes for Division Three. It's just super competitive. Every day, every single person is going out and grinding and trying their hardest and working their hardest out in the field. So I think just also understanding that the competition and the competitiveness doesn't decrease as you go down divisions. It just stays the same, or if anything, it may even be higher. So I think that is definitely was an adjustment. Just it's continuing the competitiveness and the competition.
Now you get to play in the SSC conference. Talk about what it's like being a part of that conference, just the competition you face each game.
Yeah, definitely I think one of the most competitive conferences in Division Two. There are a few times where you play the same team a few more times this season, but excuse me. Yeah, no, but I think it's really competitive. I think, especially this year, there were some teams that in the past, um, we've like, it was just, we were completely winning. And this year they're a little more neck and neck. So I think it just kind of goes to show how much the conference itself is evolving, but also just women's lacrosse is evolving. They're just getting way more recruits and more people are joining the team and it's just increasing the competition.
Now, in your freshman year, your team lost in the SSC championship game, and in your first ever NCAA tournament game as well. I'm curious, what did you take away from those experiences that helped you out for the next three seasons?
Yeah, good question. I think a lot of time like losses stink. We always say we hate losing more than we love winning, but I think losses also can sometimes be really important because it gives that adversity to the team. And I think it also really just goes to show like I never want to feel this way again. Like we never want to be in this position again where we're so close and then we lose it. So I think the losses definitely have helped the program get to becoming a two times national champion. Especially like my freshman year, I feel like each year we like climbed the ladder a little bit more, a little bit more. And I think that completely contributed to it. So I think the losses are definitely just as big of a deal as the wins.
Yeah, and let's talk a little about that because between your freshman and sophomore year, your team went from 11 wins to 18 wins. What would you say was like the biggest reason why your team made that jump between those two seasons?
Yeah, I think we had a lot of returners. And like I said, I just think everyone knew what it felt like to be so close and lose it. And we all just didn't want to feel that way again. So yeah, so we just kept doing it. I know our SSC championship, we were really down, and we came back and fought our way and clawed our way back and won, which was also just, I feel like really just describe Tampa. We're just very much, we can call ourselves like the underdogs and we'll just really like claw back and work our way back to the finish line.
Yeah, well, in that sophomore year, like you said, your team won the SSC championship for the first time in your playing career. What did that championship mean to you winning it for the first time?
It was so much fun. Especially like it was my sophomore year, so I was considered still an underclassman, and just seeing having a championship at being an underclassman was just such a great feeling, and I think it just really also put into perspective like wow, like this team can do it. Like we definitely can go all the way. And I just was really excited for the future ahead, whether it was that continuing the sophomore year or just my to like the end of my college career. I think in that moment, you just see so much more potential for the team. So it was a great feeling.
Now let's talk about your first national championship run. And obviously you guys once again won that SSC championship, but I'm just curious what did that one mean to you as a junior, being an upperclassman, and I guess what was your team's mindset heading into the tournament that season after winning that for the second time in your career?
Yeah, it was such a wonderful feeling. That was has ever been such like a dream of mine to win a national championship. It's really why I came to Tampa. I just remember sitting like in the conference room before I committed, and they were like, "Why do you want to come here?" And I was like, "Well, I want to win a national championship. Like that's what I want to do." So it was just so cool, like just being there and conquering that and experiencing that with everyone that you just look around and everyone just worked so hard and they just put so much time and energy into it. And that season definitely we had some ups and downs. So I think that's what also made it even more impactful and more just like an overall great experience is just like you saw everything we went through together as a team every day at practice on and off the field and just how much like our blood sweat and tears literally like that may sound cheesy but like literally like all of the effort and all the energy and time that we put into it and then just seeing that end goal and just holding the trophy and also being the first team in program history to do it, it was such an incredible experience.
Yeah, I was just more curious, like after you guys won the conference championship again that season. Did you have a different mindset heading in the tournament after winning it that in your junior year compared to your sophomore year?
Yeah, I think we all kind of like we had this feeling. I don't really know other way to describe it where I just kind of feel like we all felt like this team was different. And I think after we won the SSC championship, we were like, okay, like wait, like I think we like actually have like a really good shot of like going the furthest the program has ever been. And I think everyone was on the same page. Like we couldn't really describe or pinpoint the feeling. It was just like we all just felt it. Um, so yeah, so each game, and then especially when we won that regional final and going into the final four, like just how everyone was just so excited and so proud of themselves. And I think after we won that regional final, going to the final four, we're like, okay, we got this. Like we can go all the way. So I think it was just like I don't know if that makes sense, but
Oh yeah, I
just like
get
a
it.
feeling we all had, and we all just like, oh, we can do this. It just we all just felt like this year was different. And we just still had like some returners that like I still played with my freshman year. Were still there my junior year that were older than me who took fifth year. So just experiencing it all with them was just great.
Now, you guys had an incredible run to that trophy, beating two number one ranked teams. Talk about that run your team had leading up to the championship game and what you will remember most about it.
This one or last one?
Your junior year.
My junior year. I think that also I think just really, prepared us. I think when you do beat these like big name teams and these teams that are ranked higher than you, I think it also just instills a confidence in yourself. Like, going in you want to be confident, but I think it just gives you a little bit more boost of confidence and really just helps you more believe in yourself, which I think is super important. So, and of course, like those are just the most fun games when you're like playing someone that's ranked higher than you or the big names and then you beat them. So yeah, just so it's just such fun. Those are the best games.
Now, you guys beat Adelphi College to win the national championship for the first time in your career. What were like the emotions that you were going through after that win?
Yeah. I think, ever since just being younger, Adelphi is closer to where I live. So when I was getting recruited, I didn't know much about Division Two. I kind of really Adelphi was one of the bigger names that I knew. So I think just like beating them was just so cool because I was like growing up and when I was recruiting, this was like really the only like name that you'd really hear about in Division Two. And I just thought it was so cool to be a part of a team that like beat that big name that everyone only knew and put Tampa on the map. So it was just like it was just a great feeling. And also we beating them again, after we lost to them in the season and then beating them in the national championship. And we just it was just such a great feeling. The way the whole game went, we were like and halftime it was like scorching hot heat in Orlando. We were like chilling, and they were like so hot, dying coming from the north. So it was just such a great experience.
Now, as you've gone on throughout your collegiate career, what would you say has been the biggest improvement you've made to your game?
Yeah, good question. I think like stick skills and IQ. My freshman year, I had a great assistant coach, Hillary Ham, and she just really emphasized the importance of stick work and lacrosse IQ. Um, and I just think like it never felt that much like expressed to me how important that is before until I was coached by her. So I think that just is something that I really improved. How important it is watching film, and I think watching it together as a team. I think sometimes other people see things that you may not see, and also just like communicating with each other and just going out every day and just getting better, going on the wall, running, and just grabbing a partner, grabbing a teammate, and doing stuff together. So I think definitely like stick work and lacrosse IQ.
Now, as a senior this past year, what type of leadership did you want to bring towards the team? Would you consider yourself more of a vocal leader or lead by example type of player?
Yeah, good question. Um, I feel like I would say I was more of like a lead by example, but I also would say vocal in the sense that I just really wanted to be encouraging to my teammates. Something that I always just found when I was younger is I'd always just loved having encouragement and people on the sidelines just cheering for you and being like your biggest fan. So that's something that I've always tried to do to others, especially when I would coach in the summer on my previous old club team and just like being an upper class and just really being like their biggest cheerleader. Um, it just I feel like I realized my freshman year how much of a difference it makes when you hear someone cheering for you, especially if it's an older classman, upperclassman. So I think that in the vocal sense, I just really just try to cheer everybody on, like let them know when they're doing a good job. And if there is something that maybe they needed to work on, just approaching it in like a positive way, in a way that they know that they can improve on this and that, hey, like it's just a quick little fix, then you're good. And then if they do that fix, letting them know that they made that fix and that they improved and just being so happy for them. I think in that sense, I'd probably say vocal just because I just was really trying to be everybody's cheerleader.
Now, your team only lost one game this whole season. How did your team maintain its consistency and deal with the pressure knowing that there was a target on your team's back being the defending champions?
Yeah. I think that loss was important for us. I think like I said in the beginning, like losses definitely just give adversity, but I think it was important for us because we were undefeated. And I think sometimes you need that. And losing it in overtime, especially when once again you're so close and then you lose it and you're like, oh my gosh, like that burns a little more. Um, so I think that loss really helped us, and I think we weren't really expecting to have that loss as well. So I think that also really changed our mindset to be like, okay, like we cannot underestimate any team that we play, no matter whatever happened in the past. Like it doesn't matter because each day people come out, they could be a whole new different team when they come out, they put their best foot forward. So I think just what we took from that is just really being like, okay, we can't be, we want to be confident, but there's a difference between being confident and cocky. But you also want to be confident, you don't want to be like scared or timid. So I think just definitely like keeping to who we are as Tampa and keeping how we play and just not underestimating any opponent.
Now, you guys had another incredible run to the national championship, and then eventually you guys beat Adelphi College again to win that second one back to back. What emotions were you going through after that particular win, and have you fully processed, that whole run a month later, knowing that was your final collegiate game, but ending it on, having the best fairy tale ending, I guess.
Yeah. It was just so awesome to beat them again. Like, you know what I mean? Like we beat them in season, which was also just probably one of like my favorite games, just like a rematch of the national championship during season. We beat them then and then we actually smoked them. But
One of the
and
best
then
goals from Peyton Howell in that game too.
yeah, it was just such a great game. I feel like she played well, so many people played well, and everyone was just on their A game. And in that championship, I think just beating them again was just also so cool. We're like, no, like we are the best team, and I think going back to back, I think it really does just prove to people that that wasn't a fluke, that wasn't a one case scenario. Like, no, like Tampa is here to continue to prove themselves and keep their name as a top competitor and maintain at the top. So I just think like beating them at Delphi, just doing it to them twice in a row, I mean, it's like a dream. That's like so cool. And like I said before, growing up or just when I was recruiting, that was just such this big name. And even my sister, when she played at UND, that was such a big name for them too. I think it was just so cool. Like now we're here, now we're beating this like big name team and making ourselves be the big name.
Yeah. Were you like obviously she had more championships than you did before this past year. Did you like when you finally won, did you like now we're even so you can't have bragging rights
it
on
was
me?
it was funny. One of her like teammates commented something about that on Instagram, and I'm like, it does feel pretty sweet that like now we're even. But yeah, I mean, it's just like a great thing to, have that bond and share it. Not many people get to experience it. So it is really cool to have, especially a sister, know what that feels like. Um, and just, she can just give way more advice and understanding more about it than a lot of other people can just because she's been through it. So yeah, definitely. She's great. Yeah.
Was there anything cool that you got to do since winning the championship? I'm just curious, like, do you get to like, is there something you guys get to do that you wouldn't get to do if you won the championship? Like throw out the first pitch at a Rays game? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Well, year we did go to the White House, which was really cool. That was so awesome. This year, I'm hoping we get to go again. I'm not quite sure. I know last year we didn't really find out until like later end of June, more July. So I'm hoping that we still get to go. So hopefully the White House again. That would probably be my answer.
Nice. I've never been there. It looks like a lot of fun, but I
Yeah,
can't say too much about
it
it.
was it was beautiful. They had like I guess that they used to do that. They used to have a lot of the national champions go and visit it, and then I believe it stopped because of COVID. So last year was the first year that they brought it back. So I'm hoping that they now continue it because I believe it was just such a success last year. So yeah,
That's cool. That's cool. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, hopefully you guys get to do that again. I've one of my like I would love to go back to DC because last time I was there I was so young, so I didn't really appreciate the history of that
Mhm.
city. So I'd love to go back and like see all the history again and have a better understanding than when I did when I was younger. So no, I hope you guys get that opportunity too. It sounds like
Definitely.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, you definitely should go back. I've never been there actually, until last year, and it was so beautiful. So I definitely would go back if I were you.
Now let's get to a quick segment that I like to call the non-lacrosse segment, where I ask you some non-lacrosse questions to get to know you a little more off the field. So first one is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
It's such a good question. I feel like there would be like a few that I don't know who I would pick. I feel like a young Sandra Bullock would be a good option. I love her. I think she is just so versatile in her roles, but I think she's just like really gritty and she's really kind, and I think she just has a great personality. She's like super bubbly. And then I would maybe also say like Emma Stone or like Rachel McAdams. I don't know. I really
Yeah,
like those three. I guess I would say one of
nice.
them.
Yeah. Where's one place you would love to travel to soon?
Um, I actually am going to Italy this summer, and that's the first time I've ever been. So I would say Italy because that is somewhere where I am going soon. I've always wanted to go. So
Nice. Have fun there. I've never been
thank
myself.
you.
So,
Yeah, I'm
um,
super excited.
yeah, no, it looks like a lot of fun. I think the Vatican, I don't know that I know that's technically not Italy, but that looks like a lot of fun, just all the artwork that they have there.
Definitely. I'm excited to like, I feel like there's just so much to do. So planning it can be a little tough because you're like, there's so much I want to see. But
You don't
yeah,
want to
no, I'm super
overwhelm yourself
excited.
too, so yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Well, another non-lacrosse question is who has the best style on the UTampa women's lacrosse team besides yourself, obviously.
Do you mean like fashion wise?
Yeah, like off the field.
That's such a good question. I feel like there's like a few people.
Because I like the
Um,
M necklace, so I feel like it's probably you, but
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I do love fashion. I love like dressing up. But I feel like I always compliment like Mary Kay Person's outfits. I
okay,
think she always has some cute tops.
nice. Now, last non-lacrosse question is what's been the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Another good question. I feel like the only thing I can think of, I'm currently in Seattle, I'm at the Jersey Shore. So I feel like maybe that as I'm walking around, there's restaurants and bars that were here when my dad was younger. So I feel like that's kind of funny that he was like, they were there so long ago and he was even there when they just first started becoming new. I feel like that's a pretty fun fact that I learned. I'm like, oh, these have been here for a while.
Yeah, nice. I would say my one of my friends told me a fact that there's only one person in baseball history to hit it inside the park grand slam walk-off win, and that's Roberto Clemente. And I just think that's really cool that that actually happened in an
Oh,
MLB game.
yeah. I feel like I can't think of like that's like a really good answer. Like I feel like I can't
Well,
think
he
of
just
like
told me like a
one
couple
of
days
things
ago.
like
That's why
that.
it's fresh on my mind.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, I guess before we wrap things up, Mekelsey, do you have any shout outs you want to give, and who should we have on the podcast next? I know we talked about Michaela Mackenzie a lot during this pod, but you know, if you want to give
Yeah.
McKenna a shout out, feel free to do that as well. So I don't know if she plays lacrosse or
um
not.
Yeah, no, McKenna, she did play sports growing up in high school. She just had like a few injuries, so unfortunately, she just couldn't play in college. But I mean, I hope to give a shout out to like my whole family,
Hmm.
um, mom, dad, Kale, Mackenzie, McKenna, love you guys, and just all like my close friends and my teammates. They just have really made, especially this past like my senior year, just that group of girls, everyone on this 2025 team. They've just made such my experience just so amazing at Tampa. Um, and I feel like if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have, I wouldn't be where I am here today. So yeah, I'll give like, do you want some recommendations of who you should have on next?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. I'll give a shout out to Izzy McGarvey. She's my one of my Philly girls. Love her. She's super gritty. She works so hard. I think she'd be a good option. One of my best friends, Sophie Risk. She has a great story this year, especially since she tore ACL and came back and played and just killed it in NCAA's. Um, so yeah, I'll give those two. I think they're two great options. They're great hard workers and they love the game and they had a great season.
Well, thank you so much, Mekelsey, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. It means a lot to myself, and I think you're a great player, but an even better person. So I just want to let you know
Thank
that.
you.
And obviously, congrats on your championship win times two. And
Thank
wishing you all the best for your new job this summer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your kind words and you taking the time to meet with me as well. I think what you're doing is just so great and continuing to spread the word of women's lacrosse. It's awesome.